Deputies in here.
If ever you served in the United States military, you are familiar with the term Charlie Foxtrot. Today, we get to see one. Hi friends, welcome to today's research-informed badge cam lesson here at Active Self-Protection. We're very glad you're here. I am your host, John Correa.
I'm your co-host, Mike Williver. Today's video comes to us once again from Los Angeles County, California.
Yeah, Norwalk in particular.
Norwalk.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video. Norwalk, California, this guy walks in with a shotgun, kicks a round out of it, and then picks that up and puts it in his pocket, and then tells everybody he wants the money out of the safe, which apparently the guy's got like bags of money behind the counter. And you see a bunch of bystanders, see the guy in the Nike shirt, they're just watching him, and then a couple of clerks just watching him, and he's gonna walk out. The deputies are gonna, get called and find him. We got badge cam. Let's listen into what happens when they do contact him.
Don't move, don't move, don't move! 1033, give me the patch.
Give me the patch, Doug.
25 people gonna be detained, 1-2 suspect at gunpoint. This cross here, sir.
20.
21 overhead. Can I get one unit to come in from south of the parking lot from Rosecrans?
Yeah, Baker, Rosecrans. Down, please. Get somebody to shut down westbound traffic.
Hey, all right, listen up. Start walking back towards our vehicle. Keep your hands on top of your head, start walking back. Hey, come over here, give an announcement. All right, start walking back towards us, bro.
All right. Hey, yeah, bolster that, get a taser. All right, let's walk up.
Guys, no passes on to all hands on.
Who's got the 40? Who's got the 40? Hey! Commander! Don't freeze! Hey, let me see your hands! Hey, if you don't see his hands, shoot him with the 40. Watch out! Hey! Watch out! Right rifle!
Keep going your downrange.
417 in half. 998. Right there.
He's got a shotgun. Get down.
Hey, Hey, I've got my rifle!
Keep going beyond range.
Be back! Hey, watch past my Hey! Hey, I've got AR! Grab it! Grab the fucking AR! Yeah, come on, let me go. Hey, stop it. Hey, stop pitching me! Drive. Okay, settle down.
You guys have got that suspect in custody. Let's get down to our lane, and then I need somebody to go into that fashion center. Make sure there's no police inside there.
What's up, bro? What's up?
Hey, just confirm, we got all these streets locked down. We're getting handcuffs on the suspect now.
Homie had not only the shotgun on him, but also 2 rifles that apparently didn't get used in the altercation. He was only hit 1 time in the left hand, and then in the polyester pileup, they drive stunned him, and that's what finally got him to quit, is he didn't like, taking the Pikachu ride. He's facing, obviously, a humongous host of charges. Thankfully, none of those bullets that those deputies fired hurt anybody else, and no one else was harmed. How messed up in the head do you have to be like, hey, there's like 28 sheriff's deputies here. I'm going to get out my old Wingmaster 870 and let's have a gunfight.
Clarence, the guardian angel, was on his shoulder that day.
Say this all the time on the channel, Mike, but this one should not have been call the deputies to come save us, but to collect the remains of an armed robber, because this guy is showing everybody a shotgun. And whether it's the guy in the Nike shirt, the guy in the farther background, one of the clerks, this guy's now got just his left hand on the, the fore end of that shotgun, but he's threatening everybody's life with it. And they should have shot this guy immediately and ended this threat. California even shall issue. It's a pain in the butt, depending on the county to get. But every county issues concealed carry permits now on a shall issue basis. And this is one of those times where, it's not about where you shoot someone, it's about why. So shooting this guy in the back due to his threat to other people in the place would have been 100%, got it for you, justified.
Yeah, during our pre-brief, we talked about it, and I said, as you also have insinuated at least, that look, maybe the guy, he could have been armed and was worried about a DA taking a dim view on him, taking the law into his own hands, or whatever they might consider. There's a few points in here where I think that public opinion and the current narrative of things in California might have come into play, to include what the officers did later on. We'll talk about that later. I wonder if this guy felt more stupid about racking a round out of his shotgun unnecessarily, or having only the top button of his shirt buttoned. Either way, I'm glad that nobody inside the establishment got hurt, at least.
And listen, we do say all the time on the channel to outsource your violence when you can, but this guy is threatening the life of the clerk, threatening everybody else in the store, threatening you and your life with death if he doesn't get his way. So would it be justified to shoot this guy? Absolutely. And again, it's not about where I shoot someone, it's about why. And we say that constantly on the channel. I also want to say, this looks like he's got some inside baseball, because if this guy's got a bunch of cash or valuables like sitting in plastic bags underneath, and I don't know, maybe they didn't release the whole video that he had threatened them earlier, so that's why the clerk had gotten stuff out. That's a weird thing to me. So, but maybe it was an inside job. Maybe those things happen. But again, this is why we say people should be their own first responder, because that prevents everything else that's happening and ends the threat much more quickly here. Now, as we transition to the actions of the LA County Sheriff's Department here, this is a goat rodeo, quite frankly. This is not handled well. I'm just going to say, I don't know who's in charge here and why they decided to do some of the things that they decided to do, but we're going to be fairly critical of how they handled this, all right? And it's not because we have disdain for them, but it's because we want to train to be better. We want our officers, our deputies, our agents to do a great job in the moment. And these guys kind of all get together here. So our guy runs off finally, and now our guy's going to show up, all right, fine, and stick a gun on him. And our dude is non-compliant. This is an armed robbery suspect who is actively armed himself. You can see him there. He's got a shotgun in his hand. And literally, for the safety of the public, you need to handle this immediately. For the safety of your fellow officers, you need to handle this. And Mike, I just feel like they handled this one poorly.
Yeah, we have a lot of criticism about this one. Listen, John, as I may have told you before, the LAPD, the Los Angeles Police Department, and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, historically, throughout the 70s and 80s, they were the vanguard agencies of local law enforcement in the United States. Everyone looked to them for training, for tactics, for what car to buy, to, how do we approach a barricaded subject or whatever. And I'm not sure what's happened, but these two once proud agencies, as we've seen, unfortunately, through these videos, are not handling things the way they used to, and they're like, certain tactics we're seeing are objectionable. Now, I want to move on to this phalanx thing. I don't understand, in the year of our Lord 2025, we have a person with a firearm, with a long gun. And for some reason, we feel the need to go, oh, we better have a 40 mic as well. We better have a taser as well, just in case. That's total nonsense, in my opinion. Everyone here walking up to this guy should have a gun in their hand. Deadly force is the answer for somebody with a gun like this. I don't understand the situation where they think a taser or an impact weapon like this is going to make the difference in what could be a gunfight. Do not ask me to approach a guy who has a long gun with a taser, because I'm not doing it.
I watched this and my first thought was, what in the wide world of sports is going on here? Now, of course, if you get that joke, you need to schedule your colonoscopy, right? So leave me your favorite quote from that movie in the comments, everyone. Listen, you got one guy with a shield who later on is going to be sticking so much meat out in front of that shield that it makes me want to bang my head against the wall. And I'm not a guy who does this kind of thing, and even I can recognize this was not good shield work. And then you got dudes basically deciding, well, he'll use the shield, I'll use my fellow deputy as cover, and then we'll walk this in. And the deputy in front here who has the 40 mic, he's just got it dangling. He's actually not got it ready. He's not ready to go anywhere. So this just looks like a failure of command and control, a failure to make a plan that makes any sense here. And so it feels like nobody's in charge, Mike.
Yeah. Again, I want to reiterate, if you are bringing a 40 mic, or if you're bringing a taser to a gunfight because you think, oh no, this will look bad later, it'll look like I wanted to kill someone, or whatever political motivation you think the DA or your supervisors might have, don't do it. I want to reiterate this. I'm not approaching a guy armed with a shotgun with a taser in my hand. It is preposterous. It is clearly the wrong move. I don't know. We saw this in our last video. We saw this sort of approach with the shield. Look, I think we can wait. As long as we need to wait, we need to seal off every other exit for this guy with another deputy who's not making themselves known, and wait this out and find another way. Approaching this guy right now, I don't see the urgency of getting, approaching this guy and getting up on him like this. Get another deputy at an angle, hidden in there. Give him a long gun and let him lay in on this guy and wait for him to make the wrong move and end it that way. We had an officer on the podcast from SoCal who went to a situation like this with an officer who'd been shot and ended up flanking the bad guy, waited for the bad guy to start shooting back at the police, and handled the problem. I don't understand the sense of urgency to get officers on foot. Wait for a Bearcat. Do something other than this.
Well, and now the guy puts a gun in both hands. So now he's got a shotgun. He's clearly being faced by, every deputy in the county, it seems, puts a gun in both hands and nobody shoots this guy? This is just preposterous to me. Now, I get it. California cops especially, right? They are under intense scrutiny. And I think this is what you get when you don't think about the reasonableness of defending their own life and the life of the community. This guy's just committed armed robbery, but you're making every cop think about, gosh, if I shoot this guy, it'll end my career and I might end up in prison. And those kind of policies that especially in California have come into place endanger lives and makes people hesitate. And I hate this for them, Mike.
Yeah. I worked law enforcement in Southern California, not LA. I worked in LA a few times, but I was assigned mainly to San Diego County and did some work in Imperial County and other places. And when I worked there, this wasn't really the case. You had San Diego County Sheriffs, a fantastic organization that I work very closely with. And those guys, you could tell from the way they acted in the field, the way they acted on a street encounter, the way they acted on a search warrant or a fourth waiver search. They were secure that if they did things correctly, that if they followed policy, that they would be backed up by their department, by their agency, by their brass, and by the DA's office. Not that they could do whatever they want, They were following policy, following the law, but they knew that if they did those things and did them properly, they wouldn't have to look over their shoulder and wonder, am I going to get charged for something because there is a political point to be made? Not to get too political in this video, but this whole situation should not have gone down like it did, and I think part of the reason it did is because of those policies and that sort of air that there is in California about law enforcement officers being triple and quadruple guessed.
Well, and obviously, so you ask the question, there's a deputy on screen who, why didn't he shoot him? Because he doesn't have a gun in his hand, because he's got a taser in his hand. And again, a guy with a gun, it's not time for less lethal. There's no need for that here. It's an inappropriate answer. And so he's out of the fight. He's not useful to anyone. And he could have one of the other deputies. Yes, absolutely they could have. But again, everybody chooses instead to let's all play, phalanx or testudo or, something here. Now, once the shooting actually starts, we're also going to have to say our deputy who did the first shooting, we'll talk about his first shooting in a minute, then ends up crouching behind the car with the gun over his head, shooting basically blindly. I don't even know if he's looking in the direction of our perp here. He's firing over the hood of the car with his gun stuck out to the side of him, gangster style. And this to me is borderline. It's not borderline. It's reckless. Look at a backstop. There's people down that place. There's traffic down there. If you're not looking at your sights and sure what you're going to hit, you cannot shoot. This is bad.
Listen, I understand. I've been shot at. I understand as well as anyone. At this moment, you're just waiting to catch a round from that, a pellet from that shotgun or a slug from that shotgun. So you're thinking very actively about this may be the last thing I ever see, and you don't want to die. And so crouching, getting behind something is the most natural thing in the world. Everything in your body is telling you, get the heck out of Dodge. Get out of the way of this guy. Get out of the way of his gun. You get the idea. So the idea that you want to hide your body to protect yourself from incoming gunfire is natural, but you have to have thought this through. And, it looks like he's at least trying to look over and see his sights or see his rear dot or whatever it is, but he just can't be. And this is unfortunately unacceptable on the part of this deputy. You have to have gone through this script mentally in your mind before that. No, I'm gonna stand in there and I'm gonna deliver fire accurately. And if I can't, I'm just not gonna shoot. It's hard for me as a former law enforcement officer to come down hard on this guy, but you can't see this. Had he accidentally shot an innocent third party, I can't imagine how he would have felt about it. I'm sure watching this video makes him cringe as much as it makes us cringe. But this is something, a lesson to be learned out of this video, so pay attention.
Yeah, next. Okay, cell phone footage. All right, I'm glad we have it because it gives us another angle, really shows us what happened. But baby, what is you doing? If cops are pointing a bunch of guns at people, get out of there. And even though it actually helped us, and I don't know if people are trying to get TikTok famous taking this stuff, but stupid and dangerous, Mike. If you see the cops pointing guns at people, the scene can change in just a moment, and standing there and being a part of it is stupid on a high level.
Yeah, I mean, look, we just talked about the deputy shooting what appeared to be partially blindly. If a deputy can be put in that position, imagine what the bad guy might do. So, and by the way, he's holding a shotgun. Not that it should matter, right? He's holding a gun, which is what matters, but he's holding a shotgun. And, as far away as he is, that those pellets could spread out enough that he gets hit, accidentally. We saw this not long ago in another city where a guy's like, oh, look, the police are pointing guns at someone. I should take out my cell phone and start recording. Never the answer. You're never far enough away to be safe. I said recently, hey, if you want to record because you think there's being abuse on the part of law enforcement, go ahead and record. Do it at a safe distance. Once the guns comes out, it's time to go.
It's time to go. It's time to nope out of there. And man, I get it. People want to be famous now and they want to, oh, look, I recorded the cops doing bad things. It's just radically unsafe. I'm super glad nobody ended up getting hurt in this one when that went down. Now, we got some more fun. I think this guy's pointing rifles at people. That's a bad thing. Now, I want to see where the shooting is, because this deputy who ends up shooting over the hood, he's the one who decides to start the gunfire. And I think he was absolutely right to do so. You see the guy puts a gun in two hands, so our deputy shoots him. But do you see where the bullet went? The bullet went into the windshield. He jerked that shot significantly low. So this is across two car lengths. Now, it's about a car length because it's the two widths of the car, not length, but width. So two car widths. And he jerked that shot low enough that it went into the windshield instead and missed. And frankly, again, if you're going to be there and do that, you got to have the marksmanship skills in order to do it, because he failed. He may have passed his quals, but he failed in real life. And I don't want to be too hard on him, Mike, and I hear what you're saying, but lives are on the line here. We got to do this right.
Yeah, not making any excuses, to be clear. It's just that I understand because I've been there. I think you need to have sought out extra training. If you don't feel confident making a shot like this, this is an entirely makeable shot. Yes, even under pressure, even under stress, even with your adrenaline pumping, this is a shot that can and should have been made. So if you already know you're lacking the skills or your skills aren't sharp enough, it's incumbent upon you to demand your agency give you more, to go out and seek out more on your own. This is not a shot he should have missed. I concur entirely, John.
I also want to know, look at I don't know if he's a sergeant, I don't know if he's a supervisor to the far right, and he is as casual gets. He's just kind of standing there. Yeah, what are we going to do here? All right, cool, we're all chill. Now maybe that's, in some sense, if they were successful, you would say, okay, they're very cool under pressure. But it's such a soup sandwich here that this looks like lackadaisicalness to me. I don't even know if lackadaisicalness is a word, but you get my point. This is not taking seriously enough what goes down. Now in the end, they get this numbnuts into custody. They end up getting this dude into custody. He only was hit once in the left hand from all this gunfire. And success is a heck of a deodorant. And so I'm going to say, all right, you end up getting this guy into custody. He ends up not dead. I don't think that's a negative because it gives him a chance to turn his life around and figure out what he's saying. I don't know if he will turn his life around, but it gives him a chance to turn his life around. And I'm okay with that. But the mess here, and okay, the polyester pileup happens. They finally get the guy into custody. But at what risk to what people? This man is clearly a dangerous felon. And also, by the way, he was a prohibited possessor. So all that stuff there didn't stop him from getting a shotgun and multiple rifles in order to endanger the public and commit armed robbery again. Mike, this one just feels like a really vast failure of training to me, and I think we can do better.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, to reiterate a few things, you've got to be willing to hang in there and get into a gunfight and stand tall and deliver rounds. Despite wanting to crouch, standing tall and delivering rounds is the best way to win a gunfight. You've got to. I think the big takeaway here, John, is you've got to recognize danger. Part of that is putting in your hand the right tool to deal with the threat at hand. The threat at hand is a determined bad guy with a firearm. There is no other thing to have in your hand other than a firearm, preferably a long gun that you've trained with and you know what you're doing. And just to see that sergeant sort of standing there with his hands down to his side, that was very foreign to me. I think at the end of the day, thank God, this ended well. I think if the bad guy had decided to press it a little further, he could have. At the end of the day, I think LASD needs to look at itself in the mirror. I think we're off the LASD's Christmas card list, but that's okay. I want these guys to train better, to be safe, to protect their community and themselves and cover their asp.